lot of reporting of activity. We didn't see a tremendous.
Is it weird that they're going back to the house? I mean, they're going back to the same road that they gave up the crime scene a long time ago.
So I don't want to say it's weird. I'm going to say it's a good sign.
Welcome in, ABC.
Some item of
Happy Friday.
Investigative tip, a lead, potentially an item of investigation.
Doing well.
Evidentiary
Doing well, Parsons.
There that
2.0.
they want to find, right? So I'd rather see that than no activity at all.
What's going on at the house? And who is this person? Who is this person?
The demand of money, the reach out to both local and TMZ. Do you have a sense, or do you have any kind of
what's going on, folks?
Profile of this person?
What is going on? Whose profile?
Well, a little bit more than I did earlier today, but the one thing that is really striking to me.
The reach out to both local and TMZ. Do you have?
I know, Janine. They just towed the car.
Hypothesis of a profile of this person.
Who's the profile?
Well,
who is it?
More than I did earlier today, but the one thing that is really striking to me, and John and Jonathan, I think, hit on it as well, is what's the purpose of today's communication? What was the reason for it? Because the reporter said there was no mention.
Good evening.
Of the note today, of deadlines.
It gets weirder and weirder, Janine.
How to make this ransom effected. Messages to the family. If that's true.
Sorry, I'm outside smoking a cigar here. Janine, it is getting weirder and weirder. I'm trying to find out as much as I can. I have a feeling it's getting close. And welcome back. I wasn't going to come back on, but I found something here on a feed from, again, guys, I'm just announcing a news outlet. It's not that I support. This is out of CNN, Anderson Cooper, who's doing a pretty good job. I call it. Anyhow, get back to the topic. Once again, President Trump also is really attached to this situation. I mean, I think the whole America is attached. But who is this person? They are continuing saying a man. It has to be a man. And as Janine alluded to, they just towed Nancy's car. So they towed the car, and that device, folks, that was on a roof, they're saying now was some kind of a solar panel. And then they go back and forth, and I heard, well, it could be a camera. I don't know if they want the public to know everything. What we do know is in Tucson, Arizona, as many journalists are there, they're saying they're there. They're there. Who is there? FBI, local police, detectives. They're there at this hour. They're there. And I just paused this. It's just getting weirder and weirder. Summer Sweet Tea. So love that name. But they're talking about who the person is. Who is he? Who is he? And is he going to come real close? Is he desperate? And they really need the money. So that's where we're at. Again, they're calling it a device. That device. We heard camera. We heard broken camera. But the investigators are examining the new message. We covered that earlier. What was in that message? We're getting some more details out of it. Probably going to be too late for a press conference unless they get a huge indication on pushing this forward, and they want to let the media know. I think they need the media's help. They really do. I think it's better for them to not tell us everything, but to get it out there. I'll tell you why, folks. I tell you why it's important. I think the person, the man, I continue to say two people, but I can be wrong, is watching. That person's watching. The person's watching on his phone, a burner phone, I don't know, but he's watching. A TV, something. They're watching. I think the more that we discuss, the more that the news outlets can show, in my opinion, what do you think? Yes or no? That maybe they'll make a mistake and write another ransom letter and follow that IP address right to where they're at, which could be a mile away or it could be several miles away. Let's listen into, this is CNN.
What the heck was the purpose of this letter? Was it to provide leads for the police department? Was it to hurt the family? Was it to taunt the police? So if this is an imposter who wrote both notes but did not kidnap
who's the imposter?
Nancy, then
Who is
why is he's almost guaranteeing himself years in federal prison for what he's doing without any financial benefit? So that almost makes no sense at all.
Exactly.
And why the third party intermediary? Why send the notes to the media? Because they immediately turn it over to law enforcement anyway. So there is a focus on the media here, which may give us some background.
It is so
about
horrible.
What
Selden,
this person
it
is
is
obsessed
so
with, the local media.
What does
here.
that tell you?
Horrific. It's horrible.
Well, that tells me that obsession or that interest in the local media
So there's
station
the roof.
probably pre-existed this kidnapping. In other words, he didn't just sit, and I say he, because we know that most kidnappers are males. He didn't just sit in his living room last week and decide, if he's the kidnapper, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna really make this very complex, and I'm going to include local and national media in my.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, I'm reading comments, and hey, I just want to make a call out here. A loyal subscriber and moderator, Lovebirds, aka Don't Peek, welcome in. God bless you. Now, what we're talking about here in the United States is this is 6 days now of this beautiful elderly lady. Now, who is this? Who is he? You know, who is this kidnapper? They continue to say male. Most men do this. The indication it's a male. We talked about it earlier. What's up, Boston? You know, they're on the rooftop. They found a device. Then they changed a device to a camera. They're still there. This is earlier. They're still there. Welcome in, guys. My name is Sal. We're covering this. Now, as far as the news outlet, yes, I'm covering it on CNN because CNN is doing a pretty good job. Fox, all of them, doing the best they can. Richard Howie, how are you, Richard? And yes, I am covering it. You know, this is, you got President Trump involved. You have so many people involved. And where we're at right now is there's new details. There's detectives. There's 100 detectives. There is FBI. There is President Trump. The family is praying, very faithful, praying to God. That's their hope. I still think she's alive. That's my opinion. And they are still there at the later hours in the West Coast, a little early in the West Coast, still in the neighbor's yard. That's what I want to talk about. They are now looking at the neighbor's yard. Now, they might have been looking before. I'm not so sure, but they are still there. Because the more of an hour goes by, 6 hours go by, Mike, the day goes by, the worse it is. But I believe, guys, I'm going to turn the camera around. It's dark, and I'm going to keep it dark for a second. You don't really need to see too much of my face. And I believe that we're getting close. I really do. I believe we're getting close. Now, yes, the pacemaker, she has a pacemaker. I don't know a whole lot about a pacemaker. I said it earlier. I know a little bit. And how I know a little bit because my mom had one. And then, you know, she lost her life shortly after that. Not because of the pacemaker, but I do remember her caregiver, my mom, that it works with Bluetooth. So I still don't know a whole lot, but let's hope that, you know, the pacemaker is working and hope that this woman is alive. Now, the new message, we're getting more details as Janine, our moderator, alluded to. They took Nancy Galtry's vehicle away. That's new. A device or camera on the roof. That's new. we're starting to hear more of a man, a male. And at this hour, I'm in Las Vegas, they're saying that they strongly believe that this person is a man and could be close, like a mile, 2 miles, could be. I also think the more that they televise this, like they did with Elizabeth Smart, before we had all the 4Ks. Did we have 4K TV back then? Or anyhow, we got more news coverage now. We have YouTube Live, we have Facebook, we have independent journalists, and there's going to be a lot of independent journalists there. I would stay tuned. I'm not going to be there, but I think they need to expose it. I think they need to talk about it, and the reason is this: the more that they expose it on media, I believe that the person or persons or the people, plural, that are watching this. They're watching this. They're watching CNN. They're watching Fox. They're watching TMZ and Harvey. They're watching some of the YouTube channels that are big, small, and they're keeping an eye. And I think they can get careless because they feed on it. Because I don't care if they're smart and they wrote real good grammar. Okay, that doesn't mean they can't make a mistake, because people make mistakes all the time. Yes or no? Yes or no? And I think if they have their coffee, their soda, and they get this caffeine rush, I think they can make a mistake. Maybe they'll say, hey, it's time. It's time. New ransom note. Let's put it out there to CNN. Let's put it out to Fox. Let's put it out to TMZ again. Let's put it out there. And then I said this in my earlier live. Before I go too far, thank you so much for the likes. Mistakes can happen. I believe they can get that IP address. Now, I know I'm not real familiar with IP addresses. I know somebody said earlier, if you want to jump in and help us out, you can have multiple IP address, but I think they're going to get careless. I think our FBI, let's just say it as it is. Sometimes they're sloppy, but then sometimes they're very smart and can, cover this and get the VPN and the IP address. So maybe they'll get sloppy, write another ransom note tonight, and they can go in and get this lady. So right now, let's listen in a little bit, and then we'll talk in between. And once again, this is CNN. Just for the YouTube and copyrights, I'm going to announce we are watching Anderson Cooper and CNN.
In my letters, in my demand notes, that interest in media, especially the local media, I think there's a good chance it pre-existed this kidnapping.
John, the sheriff has said that the sheriff told NBC News saying that I think there was a landscaper, a pool maintenance crew, maybe a housekeeper. They've all been cooperative. They've spoken to people who have worked in the house. They provided they provided certain information that was helpful. Obviously, anybody who has a history.
Yeah, I'm glad that Anderson Cooper, I believe it's Anderson Cooper, brought this up. They've interviewed the pool guy, the Uber driver. And I believe they're still keeping an eye on them. But I have this feeling it's probably not them, but, they're going to try to figure out, did they see anything? They hear anything? Smell anything? Anything suspicious on this? This is so bizarre that we have 6 days, and I know some of you think that she's deceased, unalive. I get it. I think she's alive. And, it goes back and forth. And by the way, they're saying ransom note number 1 was real. But now they're saying ransom note number 2 might not be real. I'm confused. Help me out. Explain this. I don't get it. Because earlier they're saying both notes could be real. Are they not confident, or they don't want to tell us? What's your thoughts? I'm asking 200 in here. They don't want us to know. Are they two different notes? Is somebody impersonating the kidnapper? Are they impersonating the kidnapper? I'm real confused on this. I'm a little confused on this. You know, I would assume they're both real, but they're saying, oh, hold on, Mike. Hold on, I'm gonna read Mike. They put on the news to say it's not real. The second note is not real to make the kidnapper write the third note. Oh, Mike. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's it. Right. To confuse. Read that message. I'm glad I went back. Wow. Mike, I'm glad I went back. Thank you, Mike. Yeah. And once again, to confuse the kidnapper who I continue to say is watching. Or kidnappers. I still think there's two, three. I asked this earlier. Do you think there's more than one kidnap? Is it just one? Can one person pull this off by themselves? Can one man pull this off by himself? But yeah, great message. Thank you, Mike. I really mean that. Thank you. Yeah. So let's assume for conversation it's from the same person. They're saying different IP address. Very well could be different IP addresses, though, right? To just try to confuse them. So. Yeah, it really is some smart theories. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, you know, I've called out the FBI. Not on this, but I've called out FBI on different things. But I also want to say, you know, they do take it very seriously, and there's some real good ones. So they are a step ahead. I got to get some water. Let's see here. 2 notes were found. They feel there's one more, I believe. You know, there's going to be this, that, whatever. All we know now, there's 2 notes. And as Mike alluded to a little bit ago, we're going to talk that they're from the same kidnapper. We're going to assume they're from the same kidnapper and try to mix it all up. And hopefully they get sloppy and send a third. Because, again, I could be 100% wrong, but I would feel if a third one comes in or a fourth one comes in, that I would think they're going to catch them. I would think. All our brain power, they'll find them. I would think. I'm going to turn it on in the background.
Going to work in that house would be somebody they would want to talk to.
Right, and the sheriff said definitively in yesterday's press conference, when pressed about were they looking at this person or that person, he said everyone is a suspect, and not to cast any aspersion.
Everyone's a suspect. You know, we keep hearing that, which is true. Hey, welcome in, Dustin Nunez. Appreciate you coming right back. I wasn't sure if I was going to come back on, but I put this on, and you know, they're going back and forth in these late hours, but you know, it's not real late in Tucson right now, and they're still there. So what makes me feel if they're still there, maybe they're ready to wrap it up, but maybe not. If they're still there, the FBI and the detectives still there and around the neighborhood and around the house and up and down the roof, then I believe that they're getting very close on breaking this, you know. Otherwise, if they were only there for like 5 minutes, 30 minutes, even an hour, then that would tell me, well, they got what they needed. Maybe it helped, maybe it didn't, right? But I would assume they're being there this late hour that they're getting some more clues. Now, whether they come out and do a press conference, I don't know. I would assume that in the morning hours, you're going to hear a press conference, or if not sooner. You know, they're going to have to come out because, you know, the media, the public is going to want to know what was on that roof. Was it a camera? Was it a Nest camera? Was it a broken camera? What was the device? Was it some kind of device that they can track you? I don't know, guys. Was it a device that they can hear? Is that a way that they can communicate? Do they want to give more information to the public and the authorities? You know, do they want to or do they want to get caught? Or it's nothing. You know, maybe they're just, and again, Mike, you're probably right. You're probably 100% right, but I hate to make this more complicated, but what if both ransom letters are just made up? Or one's made up and one's real, will we know? Will we know? Will we know by tomorrow morning in the chat? What do you think? Think we'll know by the morning or sooner? Will we know before this morning? What's your thoughts? I think we're getting close. If they're still there. If they're still there, we're getting close. Let's see what we got here.
Door to interview neighbors of Nancy Guthrie. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department confirming that they are right now investigating a new message believed to be connected to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. This message was sent to our local affiliate KOLD. You just saw Mary Coleman, the anchor there. She saw the message and she told us a whole lot about it a few moments ago. They got it at 11:45 local time this morning through their tip email, and she said that it was shorter than the first one and contained sensitive information. She described that. Then she said that the sender included information that they believe would prove they are the same person who wrote the first letter. She said the writing style was very similar, precise, coherent, similar in tone. John Miller is with me along with Wally Zahn.
Okay, so the writing was reported was very similar. Interesting. The writing on the ransom notes that was sent into TMZ, and I thought I heard it was even sent into affiliate CNN as well. In any case, it's very similar writing. And again, speaking of writing, I'm not accusing this sister. Let me repeat it again for everybody in the audience and YouTube. I'm not saying it's a sister, but the sister is and still is a writer. I'm just putting that out there, and it's somebody who knows how to write very, very well done, smooth, to the point, great grammar. Somebody who knows this woman very well. And again, Harvey from TMC. Man, did Harvey look like he aged? But man, I guess I'm aging too. But he looked like, I guess he's just tired. But Harvey said, and I believe Harvey. Hey, thank you for the gifts. Thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate the gifts. Thank you so much. Anyhow, that the sister, I'm sure they're looking at the sister knowing, hey, well, the sister's a writer. She can write. They looked at the family. They're looking at all the family. They have to. If it happened to my family, or me, or anybody else, they need to. They need to look at all angles. They always like to look at the family first. If a wife is missing, who do you look at? The husband. If the husband's missing, who do they look at? The wife. If the mom's missing, who do they look at? A son, a daughter, whoever, stepson. So they're looking at all the family members, and they're going to door to door, interviewing Nancy Guthrie neighbors. They've been doing that, but now they're going back. Knock, knock. Sorry to bother you. You sure? You haven't seen anybody. Maybe you forgot. And just see the expressions, not that they're guilty, but they know. Hey, have you seen that pool guy go over at night? Did that Uber driver come around and circle back? Hey, did you see a landscaping guy come over and cut the palm tree a couple days ago? Hey, did you see a family member go there? Who was the family member? Oh, sorry, we don't know. And then all of a sudden, somebody in the a spouse. Oh, I do remember. So they're going to go continue to hit the neighbors. This is so crazy, guys. Crazy, crazy. All right, let me get into some comments here. Let me get into some comments, and then we'll go back and listen to Anderson Cooper and the panel. And I mean, that's all we have right now. Other news outlets are, or at least they were, on to their next subject and next news thing. So is why we're watching. I mean, I'll watch anything to try to get some more clues. I mean, you know, it has to break. It has to break soon. 6 days? Can it go on to 7 days, 8 days, a week? Let's see here. Savannah's brother-in-law knows something. Yeah, maybe, John. Thank you. Savannah's brother-in-law knows something. Maybe. Sister husband is last person who saw her. Riot. Yes. Yes, I heard that too. Thank you. Thank you. Sister husband was the last person who saw her. Yeah. They're looking at all of them. All of them. All of them. They're going to be looking at all of them. And you know, and they're even going to be looking at well, they're going to be really taking a very close look at TMZ. Whoa! Not that TMZ's involved at all. Not a big fan of TMZ. I'm just saying, when I say take a look, they're just going to make sure, and I would assume, I'm 99.9, that TMZ, did I say CNN? TMZ and Harvey, I would say 99.9, they turned over what they need. You know, why would they hide anything and ruin their credibility? And I believe that they you know, I'm not going to get into the show, but I believe they really deep down inside care about, you know, the people. So yeah, I hear you, Palon, but I'm just saying, I just want to throw that out there. So I'm sure they already checked their what do you call it? The IT people from TMZ. But anyhow, I'm sure they're looking at all angles. Again, FBI is going door to door, the rooftop, the camera. They towed away Nancy's car, as Janine said earlier. If you're just coming in, what are we watching? Savannah Galtry, mother is abducted. Who was Savannah? She worked for NBC. She was going to do the Olympics. Very wealthy lady, lots of money. Family has lots of money. It's all about money, or is it not about the money? Is it about, I know some of you could put earplugs. I've been saying this, but for the new audience, could it not be for the money, and it's because they just are pissed because of Savannah said something wrong or covered a story in her past that this the kidnapper didn't like. You know, he's pissed. He's so mad that he would take the mother. I'm just putting that out there. So maybe money, probably money, but maybe not. I hate to make it more complicated, but most of the time it's all about the money. All about the money, but in this case, maybe not. Now, if you're just coming in, you think we're going to have an answer tonight or tomorrow morning? Or is it going to drag on? It's going to continue on, in better words. Will this continue on? Because the longer it continues, it's not in the favor of this woman who needs, you know, about the medicine. Was it Janine or Barbara or somebody earlier? You know, I heard stories that the mother, if you're new, like and subscribe, or if you're new to the story, we know she has a pacemaker. That's in her skin. I heard stories that she had her medicine, and then I'm heard others that no, she might be out of the medicine and they might need to go to the local drugstore. If that's the case, then, you know, I don't know if they would go to the drugstore and have that risk. And unfortunately, that would be worse for this elderly lady, Nancy Galtry. Let's see here. I think it's an inside job. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that as well, my friend. I really am. Donald Trump, 123 says hello, hello. Speaking of President Trump, Donald Trump is heavily involved. Why is he so involved? Why do you think President Trump's involved? I really like hot dogs. I get, but anyhow, yeah. Who do I think's behind this? You know, I was sitting here smoking a cigar, getting more involved in this this story. It's horrible. I say still look at the family. I'm sorry, but I'm still looking at the family. I'm looking at the family. Maybe and I'm not saying the immediate family, a distant relative. It has to be. Well, it doesn't have to be, but I would assume it's somebody who knows their wealth, or B, somebody who hates Savannah, the reporter, because she covers something they didn't like, and it's been eating them up. So, Frank, you agree? So it's going to be one of the two. Family, maybe not the immediate family, but distant, meaning cousin. I don't know if she had a sister. I don't know. Or somebody who just don't like the family. Don't like the family. The daughter's about to get... Yeah, I mean, somebody could get frame. Yeah. So that's what we have. That's what we have. I'm going to go back and we're going to listen to it. Let's see here. Son-in-law is being looked at. Excuse me. Sorry. Misread your... Sorry about that. Yeah. Son-in-law, make it clear. Son-in-law is not being locked up. Son-in-law is being looked at. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's being looked at a lot, we're hearing. Arizona cartels. Possible, possible. Probably not, but could be. Should we listen a little bit more and see what the panel has to say? Let's listen in.
Who's a former commanding officer of the NYPD hostage negotiating team, Casey Jordan, is also with us. So, John, we got a lot of information there from Mary, who has seen it, and from Harvey. What do you take away from all of this?
So, Guthrie's plea last night, which is, we need to hear from you. Now, what the Guthrie family was asking is, talk to us directly. Let's not go through another media cutout. But apparently they're going back through the station that they sent one of the first ransom demand to. The question is, and I don't know the answer to this, does this communication have a pathway to communicating with the family directly? Or is it just, I'm going to stick with this communication and reiterate my demand?
And right, and she described it not as a ransom note this time, right, Wally, as in not necessarily changing the terms. Interesting something John just said, though, that this sender is choosing to go through a local television station. This is a person who is obviously highly sophisticated with technology.
Janine, if you're still here, Janine, first of all, thank you, and Mike. But Janine, if you hear anything, and not that we're competing at all, I mean this. If you hear anything from another news outlet, Fox or News Nation, anybody, because I'm showing this and I don't have my laptop or iPad, let us know.
Using secure servers, untraceable Bitcoin, all of this. And yet they're going through something that's existed since the 1950s, a local television station. Okay, that juxtaposition might be really important.
Yes, it can be very important. That person might have had good connections with that station in the past, maybe even had worked there, knows the nomenclature, knows everything that takes place there. And when you talk about saying the sensitivity, the second part, not asking for a ransom, I think what comes out of that is her mother's condition, her health condition, getting certain answers. How is mom? Mom is this, etc., etc. So they're trying to make her feel comfortable. But on another point of view, what's very interesting
He's right.
is that the letter is now a negotiating point for the negotiator. He can negotiate with the letter to Savannah or whoever's going to talk.
Casey, what does it say to you that the person who sent the first note said, first deadline has passed, second deadline Monday, with an awful consequence, and that give us the money and there will be no more communication? And yet the family's asked for communication and the sender has provided additional communication, assuming that this letter is real. We're making that assumption based on all the information that we have. I don't know that it is. But if it is,
Like
what
Mike
does it say
said.
to you that the sender is now suddenly going against what they originally said?
The only legitimate reason I can think that they would have sent this additional communication is to convey proof of life in something, probably information that only Nancy could know,
Oh.
that they're going to pass along. Because again, there's no video, there's no photographs, but inside information that only Nancy could know may be in there. Again, the indication is it's extremely specific. If there is nothing like that in there, then the police may go in a different direction and start to wonder whether or not this is a hoax. They know they're not going to get any money, any Bitcoin, until they prove that Nancy is alive. So I have to believe that that is what the nature of this communication is. But if they did not offer any proof of life, you have to wonder why are they playing a cat and mouse game? Because really nothing about this case is consistent with what we basically.
All right. Let's pause there. Yeah, she's right. Why the cat and mouse game? Excuse me. It's late. Why the cat and mouse game? So, is she alive or unalive? Is she alive or unalive? Why the back and forth? Because they're not going to show, and I believe, I agree with the panel, that woman. It's not the movies. They're not going to show somebody with a sheet over their head. They're not going to show a phone. They're not going to show this elderly Nancy Gulch. They're not going to do that. I don't think. Because if they did that, again, it's not the movies. They're going to be caught. Because even if they showed, let's just say they do, and they showed it for like 30 seconds. That 30 seconds of that video has to be on a device. I mean, help me explain this. Does anybody on this chat, in this chat, know if it's called a burning phone? Do those burning phones have videos? And my next question, if they do, wouldn't they be able to track that down and get to that address that I believe is relatively close? Because they're going to want the money. I mean, so if they do burning phones have videos? Burning phones are usually old cell phones. Right. That's right. So, not the black and white cell phones, right? Remember the black and white? But I just don't. When did the cameras come out on the phones? When did they come out? I'm trying to make sense if they see, I don't think they're going to show anything. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to show. Even if they have a laptop with a webcam, an older webcam, I would assume that would be enough in 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds to get the agents there. Yes or no? Let's see here. Summer Sweet Tea says burner phones is just a flip phone. Yeah, okay, I got it. Walmart, the dollar store. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Summer, for refreshing my memory. Thank you. I really mean that. Thank you. Yeah. So, I would think they can track that down. I would think. We're not, we're. So I'm going to give you an example on something that, and we're going to go back to the panel. Yeah, I'll talk about it. So I did a little Lyft driving about 5-6 years ago, a little bit, and I got hacked, my Lyft account and stuff like that, bank, and after they ruled me out, because anytime you're hacked, got a cigar in my mouth, apologize. Anytime your account's hacked, if it ever happened, they have to rule you out. It takes like a day or two to rule you out, and then, but like within the next day, boom, the guy was in North Carolina. But then again, we're talking smartphone. So as Summer Sweet Tea, said, these flip phones, I just don't know. I would assume they can still figure out. And again, we're just talking about if the kidnapper shows a video of this woman for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Look, here she is. She's alive. And then you got to question, is it her? If they did that, I'm just having a conversation. I don't think they will. But if they did that, how do you know it's her? Unless they showed her face or the eyes. And I don't think they would. I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is they're going to write another letter. And they're going to get sloppy and they're going to screw up. Hello. Welcome in. Once again, we are covering this ongoing Savannah Gautry's mother, who's been missing now for 7 days. And I think we're getting closer. I think we're getting a little closer. I hope. Let's see. I'm going to read a message here. The whole thing, I'm going to read it quietly because it's long, but I am going to read it. Selden. Yes, exactly. Yes. Sorry I didn't read it out loud. I was kind of, yes. I agree. All right, let's go back. We'll listen a little bit more to the panel. Hey, once again, thank you so much for liking these live streams. Just a small YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you're new, like and subscribe. Appreciate it.
Think about 4 ransom kidnappings. So many things just don't fit the mold. I think the FBI, the police, the family still have to consider that Nancy is missing and that whoever is sending these messages could be unrelated to that abduction. There are too many moving parts going on in real time today, but we have to consider that if they're not negotiating, if they're just informing, then maybe they don't have anything to negotiate with.
Wally, what do you think of that? And I will say this, the images on our screen right now, that is the roof of Nancy Guthrie's house. So that's obviously that large structure and then that adjacent structure. You see people on the roof. And we know that after the letter was received, Harvey Levin was
I'm going to say,
I don't know if they are.
I'm very convinced she is.
Assumption to make that is when they went back with all this police presence to go back to the house because of something in the second letter to verify or check. But we can see them.
I think she's alive.
On the roof. What do you think? In response to what Casey's saying, but also the fact that they're immediately back there looking.
For those who are saying hi,
you have
God bless you. Thank you for your support.
Hitting the street, boots on the ground, and every single one of them has to write a report to the incident commander, so they can decipher which direction to go.
I hear you, John.
And they might have some sort of information that there was something regarding the roof. And also, you have to expand these the crime scene. You can never tell. Maybe as they left the place, someone threw something, the camera or whatever, threw it and went over the roof or something. They have information of that respect.
I think you also got to go back to what Casey said, which is, first of all, they can't be myopic here. They're going to focus on this ransom letter, and they're going to pull that thread as far as it goes. But they're not going to stop everything else. So you've got the neighborhood association back out searching. You've got the FBI back at the scene. You've got them checking the house to make sure that while they're focused on that letter, they're doing all those.
For those who missed anything, I'll let you read some of the
kidnappers. And she
Right, what
may
if
be,
it's all, yeah,
and she's somewhere in the area of that house. It can't be because they stopped doing everything because of this letter.
right. All right. A new message. The Tucson television station that received one of the ransom notes for Nancy Guthrie has a new message this hour. And in a moment, I'm going to speak to the KOLD anchor, Mary Coleman, a familiar face on this show this week, who's seen the message. She'll be with us in just a moment. This is how her station just broke the news.
There's been a potentially significant development in the Guthrie investigation. 13 News today at approximately 11:40.
Whoa, talk about a morning eye-opener. We had a fluffy, savory sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles and a mouth-watering sausage McMuffin.
Hold on, guys. I gotta
for just $5
pay some bills.
at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. Investigators are actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity. It comes as we are seeing a new police presence right now at the home of Nancy Guthrie. And about that, the Pima County Sheriff's Department says investigators are conducting follow-up at the Guthrie home and in the surrounding areas. The roadway in front of the home is currently restricted to provide investigators space. Well, Ed Lavandera is there out front near Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson. And Ed, they're talking about that increased police presence, that they're doing more follow-up, closing that street as we've got this new communication. What is the latest you're hearing and seeing there?
Well, I'll kind of describe the scene that we're seeing unfold here in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. This is the stretch of street that is in front of her house, and this is the area that has been cordoned off. And this was cordoned off shortly after the news of this latest message came in. So the timing of that is interesting because it's also coming just hours or less than almost 24 hours after Cameron Guthrie, Nancy's son and Savannah Guthrie's brother, issued the latest video asking for the author of these ransom letters to communicate directly with the family. But the investigation here continues, we are told, by investigators.
Yeah, it's just
that they're coming
CNN
back
that
out
we're
to continue
watching right now.
more searches, but it's not just focused here on this particular street. We have seen federal agents on Nancy Guthrie's property. We've also heard from other neighbors here in the area who say that there have been FBI agents and other officers not only just searching in these areas around home, but in other properties around Nancy Guthrie's home as well. So it's not exactly clear if there's new tips or new evidence or new clues that they're coming back out here to search, or as sheriff's investigators have said, that with the increased presence of more federal help, it was giving them a chance to come out to these properties and continue looking. So all of that once again continuing to
Some more
unfold here.
federal
And
help.
it's the third time.
All right, for those who are coming in, the new viewers, what do we know? So there's been a new ransom note, and we're not real clear on all the details. And we watched Harvey earlier. He was on Fox and CNN, and his opinion on somebody. Once again, we're assuming that both ransom notes are from the same person, although we've heard that one is from one is from another, different IP address. But again, as our moderator and loyal subscriber Mike has said, was very, very thought out. They could be doing that to mix up the kidnapper or kidnappers, who very well could be watching this, watching the news outlets, CNN, Fox, TMZ, all of them above, News Nation, and all of them, right? And maybe they'll get confused. They don't want to put out too much. I'm going to say it's from the same person. But again, I hate to make this more all confusion, but we're not even 100% convinced that these ransom notes are not just made up. Somebody impersonating the kidnappers or kidnap. I believe there's still two, maybe three. So, but assuming they are from the same, Bridget, it's from the kidnapper. Let's assume they are. Probably. They're hoping that they'll mess up, send another one. They're hoping maybe they'll send us some kind of a video from a burner phone. We discussed that, and that's where we're at. Oh, they towed away Nancy's car. They're going around the neighbors' homes again. Excuse me. Question them, ask them if there's anything else they've seen or heard. They've interviewed the Uber driver, the pool guy, the landscaper guy, I believe. I think the landscaper guy. And they found a device. That device being either a camera that was destroyed, but then I heard no, it wasn't. It was just some kind of device. What is that device? What is that device? Is it something that hears? We don't know. They know, but they're not telling the public, which I get it. But I think they're going to have to. I would assume they're going to come out and do a press conference, not tonight, but probably in the early morning hours of Saturday. I would assume a press conference would have to come out. And once again, I hate to play the Monday, what do they call it? The Monday quarterback. But the sheriff really wasn't sharp. The sheriff was not sharp from the beginning. Almost like he's exhausted, maybe ready to retire. I'm not saying he's in on it, but it just wasn't sharp on his words. And anyhow, that's where we're at. That's pretty much where we're at. We're at 7 days, almost 8 days. Now, I read some of the comments. I think it was John, and I agree with John. I'm not calling you out, John. I agree. My mom, I just buried my mom. If it was most of our moms on here, you probably wouldn't hear, anything about it. But, this is still a woman out there, whether it's somebody with $1 million, billionaire, they're very successful people, and they're going to put it out there. She was a very high-end, respected journalist on NBC. I believe she's from Australia. And I think that's why it's getting so much exposure. And that's where we're at. That's why it's getting all this, But yeah, I do understand. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. If it was our moms or our dads or our stepmoms, most people wouldn't even know about it, but our family and maybe the local news. I was going to say newspaper. Whoo, I'm getting old too. Well, yeah, newspaper, internet, and local news, if that. So I feel you. I know that, but nonetheless, it is a human being. It's a beautiful lady. She should have never been taken. No matter what happened, I would assume this lady did nothing wrong, but maybe they had it out for Savannah. Being a reporter is not easy. You're not going to make everybody happy. I mean, I sit here and I'm a Trump supporter, and you don't have to agree on it, and I get threats. Believe me, and so people are not always going to take your side, and they shouldn't. People don't have to take your side at all, but you don't threat or take somebody, nonetheless, an elderly lady or kids. We talk about never should ever happen. Sicko people. I don't care how well the grammar is, how smart they are. It's bullshit, and they should be caught. So yes, that's why it's getting exposed, because of who they are, and again, it's something we don't you don't see all the time. I mean, think about it, folks, real quick, and it's getting late. It's almost like a bad movie, right? I mean, it's like watching a movie on ransom, and then they show somebody with a sheet over their head, and then they either get them or they don't get them, right? I will say this. She's the only one. So it's not like they're going to different homes. We know that. We know if somebody broke in. What we don't know is if it's a family member or a distant family. I assume to think so. I assume to think it's somebody in the family. Or, distant relative. But that's my opinion. You guys might have some other opinions. And that's what's great. All right, let me dip into some comments here. Maybe something will break. Oh, also, I want to respond. I know I've read some comments about a cartel or something like that. I would assume no. I would assume it's either a family, distant relative, or Again, my last time I'll say this, somebody who doesn't like the family. You know, somebody who doesn't like the family. And again, it might have nothing to do with money at all. And then if you're saying, well, wait a minute, nothing to do with money, why are you asking for Bitcoin? Why are you asking for all this money? Because, you know, they just hate the family, you know, so. And not to make this more complicated, could it just be somebody in the neighborhood jealous? You know, jealous. This world we live in, people are jealous. You know, I'm just throwing that out there. Somebody who's just jealous and has a gambling problem, a drug problem. Throw that out there too, right? But I would put that on my bottom of the list. All right. Savannah's brother-in-law. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Savannah. What you guys think? Is it leading to Savannah's brother-in-law? Yes or no? Now, for the person, or not to be rude, who says, can I ask you a question? I'm going to take it that you're being professional, but just go out and say it, because if I see it repeatedly, then I'm going to treat it as like a spam. But if you just want to ask it, if it's something that's not too off topic, because we want to stick to the topic here. All right, continue here. A lot of different opinions. All right, we'll continue on. For those who are stopping in and saying hi, hello, and welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Enjoying your week, your weekend. We got Super Bowl coming up. 2 days away. Where are the canines? Where are the canines? Interesting. I don't think I've seen the canines. Has anybody seen the canines on here? I haven't. Hey, welcome in, Vault Carter. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Somebody asked me if I was a Democrat or Republican. I'm for the American people and what's common sense, which is for President Trump. Hope that answered your question. And that's that. There's cameras everywhere these days, John. Thank you. Yeah, you know, John, first of all, John, thank you for your comment and being on here for a while. You know, John, I'm going to respond. Why weren't they, this is to everybody. Great question. Why didn't they have better cameras? I mean, most people have doorbell cameras or, well, why didn't they have like higher end cameras and did the cameras from the neighbors, it's a very wealthy neighborhood, didn't the cameras pick up anything? You would think they did. But then again, I had an incident in my neighborhood, and I don't know if Mike's on here. I don't want to put Mike on the spot. That happened 2 years ago. Shooting, my neighborhood, and my doorbell had one angle. The neighbor had another angle. Others had another angle, but none of them had the angle of the suspect. None. So, but I'm not in $1 million neighborhood. But yeah, John, your cameras are everywhere. You would assume that something would pick up the suspects. I still say suspects. I still say 2, 3, at least 2. I hear you, Freedom. I hear you. I see you. Of course, with the flag behind me on this topic, we're going to get some political views, but that's fine. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think all Americans would want this woman found, right? I would think Democrats, Republicans, Independents, anybody who has a pulse would, haters would want this woman found. I understand if it was our moms or our fathers, we wouldn't get that attention. I hear you, I see you, I feel you, but nonetheless, it's still a woman out there who needs to be found, who I believe is alive. All right, well, I think I paused and I got behind here, so I'm going to try to get caught up. Yes, I am Italian.
She sounds somewhat alarmed.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
When she...
See, now here, Harvey looks better. I'm picking on Harvey tonight. Sorry. Harvey looks good here, though.
Let's go now to Harvey Levin, founder of TMZ, which received a ransom note for Nancy Guthrie.
You guys want to listen to Harvey?
Harvey, you just heard what Mary had to say, all the details that she was able to share, and you having
go to see the movie on Friday.
That original letter. Okay, what do you hear from Mary?
She sounds somewhat alarmed when she kind of describes as much as she said she could. It doesn't seem coincidental to me that on the heels of this, they went back out to the house and Mary said that they want to really show that they are the people, or this is the person who has Nancy Guthrie. And it seems like the investigators are going out to the house to verify what is in that letter. I mean, I think that seems kind of clear. It would be very coincidental that they would clear the area of media after days and then suddenly go over there the way they did.
I agree.
On the heels of this. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the authorities find. And I think it was also particularly interesting that Mary said that this letter is somewhat of a reaction to the pleas that Savannah and her siblings made. I think that's especially interesting.
Well, especially because I know, Harvey, you've been so clear that one of the things in the original note was, this was all you will hear from me, right? This was it.
Yeah.
So this has changed.
You know, Aaron,
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I never really believed that because you say that, and then their end game, at least in the first letter, was getting money. And if they think they need to show something additional,
no, this is I'm a little behind.
Something, you know, there is a pot of gold at the end of this for them, and you know, I think they're not just going to stand by the first letter and say, I'm not sending you anything more. If they sense that they might get something more, if they give something up, and remember Savannah said, we're ready to talk, I think that kind of baited them. So it doesn't surprise me at all that there's a second letter.
All right, so then there was something, a few things. You had said there were things in the original letter, which if we were trying to figure out if that were real, that stood out, right? One of them, obviously the floodlight, but another was the Apple Watch that she was wearing, and specific.
AI is transforming customer service. It's obvious.
Sorry, guys, but
the leader in that category is
they got ads here. They got to pay their bills.
Is the sender is trying to make it clear that they're the same person, and that from reading the first one, it is very clear to her what the items are or what the details are in the second letter that make it, seem that the same person wrote them both. Knowing that and hearing that, what do you think that could be?
I don't think it's the same items because the Apple Watch, it was the placement that was important, and that's already out. I really thought the floodlight was interesting. They didn't say.
Michael says the son-in-law knows.
Damaged floodlight.
The son-in-law knows.
Destroyed. That's an interesting word when you say destroyed. Somebody destroys something. And what I wondered was there a floodlight on that might have illuminated somebody and they kicked it or something? So that word destroyed really stood out to me. I know that Mary said that there's something in the letter that further verifies who they are, but this wasn't a ransom demand. And she said there were, I don't remember the exact words, Aaron, but it sounded to me like she was saying there's something very sensitive, and it almost felt alarming So I don't know
Yes.
what that is. I don't know whether it has to do. What I do know is that in the first letter, they say that Nancy was okay, but scared, and that she was aware of the ransom note and the demands. And so.
Okay, so in that letter, Nancy, the elderly lady, if you're new, coming in, of Savannah Guthrie's mother, was okay. Do you believe that? Yes or no? Do you believe that? What Harvey just said from TMZ?
I don't know whether this has to do with
Not that Harvey's not telling the truth. I believe 100% he's telling the truth. No, Summer says no.
Nancy, or whether this has to do with proving something to Savannah. I just don't know that. What I found kind of interesting that Mary said is that they are not able to see if there's an attachment of a photo or a video or something like
Right.
that. The way this unfolded the first time around, KOLD got this letter before we did, about 12 hours before we did. So I don't know if we're going to get another letter. I think we have the ability to get attachments on our tip line. So again, I don't know, A, if we're going to get the letter, and B, if we do, whether there'll be an attachment or not.
I'm going to pause it there. I'm going to pause it there. That you're listening to Harvey from TMZ, who I believe is telling CNN, Fox. You know, he's been on all the outlets. He's tired. He looks a little bit better there. I'm going to ask this to the chat. What do we have? 270, 269 in the chat. My question is this. Do you think we'll get a third ransom note to TMZ or another news outlet? Probably to TMZ. Yes or no? Do you think we'll get one more ransom note and that'll be it? Like, time is ticking, or what's going on, you know? Nope. No. Yes. Ron Freeman says yes. Yes. God bless the family and friends. Yes or no? You think there'll be another ransom note? Yes, they are playing. Yes, they are playing cat and mouse in the game. I think if they do, I'm going to stick to my words. That'll be the last one, meaning they'll catch them, because that's when it gets sloppy. I think if they do put another note, I think they'll get them. I think they'll get them. I think they're going to get him. Get him. Male. Get them. I think there's two. And my next question, one person, lone wolf, or two, or one or more? I continue to think there's at least two. I really believe there's two. Two, yeah. There's no doubt. You know, yeah. I would think there's two in something like this. There's just no way they leave a car, a van parked out there, go in. I know she's 84 years young. Get the woman, tie her up. I don't know if they tie her up, but whatever. Wrapped her up, whatever. Right? Use your imagination. And then have a lookout. There's always a lookout, right? I'm going to say two. I would be very surprised if it was one. Maybe three. But then again, three's a crowd. As soon as I say that, Stacey, yeah, two or three. I'd be surprised if they said if they caught one person. And if they do catch one person, I'm sure they're going to say, hey, where's the other person? You know, so. I'm hearing a lot about the brother-in-law. A lot about the brother-in-law. And I'm also thinking it's still a family member. I don't think it's I don't think it's Savannah. I would say 95% it's not Savannah. I would be shocked if it was Savannah. Shock. Now, the other sister, maybe. Possible. But Savannah, I don't think so. Peaceful family and friends. I mean, they certainly all look peaceful, church and all that. I hate to be the one, well, how can I say it? But sometimes we see these cases and unfortunately it's the unexpected one, somebody very close, I would assume, I would hope it's not the immediate family, brother-in-law maybe, distant, and that's not, that's just as bad, but sometimes, you see a happy family and it's the son. I mean, who was the actor in All in the Family? I forget already. The son who turned around and murdered the... So, sometimes it's just, I'm just saying. I mean, they certainly in the faith and all that. I get it. But, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And the police, FBI, excuse me, are looking at that. It's not their first... Rob Reiner. Thank you, Tony. Tony, thank you. Rob Reiner, right. Meathead, right. Meathead and Archie Bunker. I'm not joking about. That's who he was, the character in All in the Family. Meathead. Yeah. So So yeah. Sometimes I mean, well, I'm not going to talk about it, but there's cases I where I grew up. I'm like, oh my God, it was the husband, and I would say I never expected it, and it was in this, certain. Not that it's the same situation. I'm just saying. So it could be, and it also could be a neighbor. Could be a jealous neighbor. Now, I will say this. I still think it also could be somebody who didn't like the reporting of Savannah. Somebody who's been following Savannah for a while and said, hey, you know what? I don't like what she said. She called me out on something. I quote, and this is the way we're going to go about it. We can care less about the money, but we do. But we're going to go ahead and do a ransom. We're going to torture the family. And, it could be that as well. I would not let that escape. There's somehow that could be in there too. And I'm sure I'm sure that they're looking at Savannah's emails, her text messages. I'm sure they're watching her last 6 months of interviews. I never watched her. And I'm not saying I don't like her. I just haven't watched her. I know she was good what she did. And I can't say anymore because I don't know. I would be guessing. But it doesn't matter if it's Anderson Cooper or if it's Hannity on Fox or it's a YouTube channel or it's anybody. There's people who disagree. Just because people disagree on a topic doesn't mean they're going to do anything. But there's always that percent of people who says, man, I don't like that person. I'll go as far as taking the mother. So I just want to put that out there. That could be. Could very well be. Amen, Summer. I do too. And I'm not just saying that, Summer. I really believe that she's alive. I really do. For a number of reasons that I've already said. And the biggest reason I'll just say right now that we haven't found a body and that their ransom notes, I'm going to think they're real. That they're real in the sense that it's the right, nobody's impersonating. I really think it's the real person. That's the people involved that are doing this. I could be wrong. I'm just saying. It's a distraction. Somebody said maybe, BB, maybe. You might be right, but why aren't they? There's no body. That message is true, by the way, on the landslide. That's accurate. Love the banner. Thank you. Thank you. People ask me all the time, are you a Democrat, Republican? I say, I'm for the American people. I'm for a leader, not a follower, and we're going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go on that tonight because I promised I wouldn't, and that's why the flag is behind me. But you can feel to disagree. Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of President Trump, and I just said I wouldn't talk anymore, he's full in on this. You know, he's supporting the family on this. So, for whatever reasons. Well, for whatever reason, because he cares. Hey, thank you, moderators, for being here. And shout out to Paul, who's a loyal subscriber back on. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, Janine and Mike and Crystal. And Don't Peak was here earlier. Hey, shout out to Lemon J, who's been who had an injury and is doing better. So shout out to the moderators and the memberships on here. Once again, if you're new, we appreciate all your support. And we have 143 likes. Wow, overwhelmed. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy the live stream, we're hoping that you subscribe. I really do. So thank you. Thank you. Once again, if we're covering this ongoing, who is the person? Who is the kidnappers? Who is the kidnapper? The kidnappers. Who are they? Who's the guy in the butt? Who the hell are they? This is a huge story. Yes, I'm balding. Yes. But who are they? Who are they? Now, it's getting late in Tucson, Arizona. Getting late. I'm not sure if they're still there, the authorities, but they were about an hour ago. And also, let's just say they're gone. I think they're gone. But they've been there a long time. On the roof, in the house. And that gives me an indication that, just my opinion, that they're getting closer to catching the bad guys. They're getting closer, in my opinion. Hey, Tony, thank you so much for the gifted membership. We appreciate you. Thank you, Tony K. Thank you. High five fist bump I like to give out. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it. And congratulations to the member. Thank you for help sponsoring today's live. And once again, on these lives and any other lives, we help out the homeless. So we're able and fortunate and blessed to forward the donations to the homeless people, at least here in Las Vegas metropolitan area and Jersey. Both states that we try to help them out when we can. So thank you. Thank you. Appreciate all the likes, and I wish, I can say, hey, they found her. They found her. She's alive. She's not doing real well, but she'll make it. I wish I can say that, but it's just not the case right now. But I think it's going to be soon. I think so. But I'm a person who was very optimistic. I feel I'm a very positive. I really feel not only that, there's no body. And I really believe that these letters are probably accurate. I really do. And if they're not, for conversation, let's say they're not, they haven't found anybody yet. They haven't found any. And also, too, there wasn't a lot of blood. Now, that doesn't mean she still can be injured. There wasn't a whole lot of blood that we seen on the doorstep, on the mat, there in the front. You guys, I'm sure you've seen the blood. And I hate to repeat what they're saying. They, Nancy Grace, and it looks like a nosebleed or a cut from the arm. Older people bruise easy. Maybe a bloody lip, which is bad. But it didn't look like massive blood spots where she was stabbed or something like that. So that's another indication. I mean, things could change because of a heart condition that I'm hoping and staying positive that this woman's alive. And I know it's getting a lot of exposure. And I know I've said this before. If it was our moms, well, my mom's deceased, but any other mom on here, I know, I feel, why don't we get that exposure? But, you know, you're dealing with somebody who's very famous in a way as a independent or a journalist, excuse me, an NBC. And what can I say? It's out there. It's what it is. But nonetheless, we can't just say, you know, oh, you guys can do what you want. I mean, you don't have to keep up with it. We don't have to do anything, right? But be with the Lord and pay taxes. But it's still a grandmom, a mom, a elderly, a person. And I don't like that when it comes to an elderly, really, you know, or a child. So, and once again, we all remember Elizabeth Smart, and she was found. The Utah situation from a Mormon family, she was found. So there's always that hope. And there's been more. I just can't think of them. I mean, I know very few are found. I get it. I understand. But there's been others that are found, right? There's been others. I mean, Elizabeth Smart's the only one I can think of at the moment. Let's see. Paul says, yeah, family member. I still say family member, Paul. We can both be wrong, but I would say a family member. I want to know. We all want to know. But I would say this, if they're watching this live, I would say this. If you're watching, do the right thing. You know, do the right thing. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. I'm not going to lie. You know you're in trouble. But if you didn't harm her, then you're going to get, you know, kidnapping charges, which is real serious. Could be a lot of people mad, right? But if she's alive, you're not going to face murder, and you're not going to spend the rest of your life in prison, or even worse, the death penalty. So I would say common sense, do the right thing. All right, let's move on. And if there's some of the spam on here, guys, is bothering you, just ignore it. Or if there's something you don't like about politician, just ignore it. Everybody has their right on, you know, their choice. FBI will find her soon. I think so, John. I think so. I don't know. I look like, I get that a lot. I don't think I look like Epstein, but Crystal, thank you. You can never do anything wrong. Just, you know, you gotta ignore, the spam, the trolls. But as far as, everybody has their opinion on this topic, and on the flag behind me. All right, let me continue on here. Yeah. I might look like him. I don't think I do, but I can assure you that I'm not even this close like that piece of shit who is unalive. All right. Again, somebody who harmed kids. All right, let's get off that. But once again, I'm going to ask the question. We heard Harvey. He wasn't surprised that they got the second letter, or yeah. But do you think there's going to be a third ransom note, or the note? It's been a long day, guys. Bear with me. The ransom note. Sorry. He wasn't too surprised. They asked him, would there be another one? Did he answer that? I can't remember. I would assume they probably will get one more. Absolutely, Paul. No, I'm not a veteran, but if you're a veteran or anybody else is a veteran on this channel, shout out to the veterans like Crystal and many others. Many others. God bless you. Thank you for your service. Let's continue here. This is a Camacho cigar for someone who asked about the cigar. My hairline is wild. Alex, I've tried everything. So let me know if you can help me. And once again, I'm laughing, but I'm laughing at the comment. I'm not laughing at the situation. It's a very sad situation that we're covering tonight. Let's see here. Summer Sweet Tea says, let me read Summer Sweet Tea. I'm shocked what her family thinks she is worth. Yeah, I know. I know. I was thinking that too, Summer Sweet Tea. Trump Bunny 24 says hello. Hello. Trump Bunny 24. Hello. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Summer, but it's difficult. We don't know what the family's being told by the authorities either. Summer, it's a difficult situation. And again, I would say 98%. I know I said 95 before. That Savannah is behind this. That's my thought. And the sister, even though, I just don't know. But it's got to be somebody in the family. It's got to be. Well, it don't have to be, but I would assume it's somebody very close to the family on this high-profile case. But, it could turn out to be the complete opposite. Somebody said it was all staged. I don't think so. But appreciate your comment. I've seen it before. I've heard it before. I heard it from a family member of mine. I don't think so. I don't think it's all staged. Not at all. Absolutely, Paul. That's in a nutshell. Yeah, the world is a stage. Hey, member. Sometimes you think, but no, this happened. This happened. Thank you, Crystal. This has happened. It's unfortunate, but it happened. Yep. Summer Sweet Tea. All the mods are on here. Shout out to, I know Summer Sweet Tea's going like this, but shout out to Summer Sweet Tea. Mods are doing a great job on here. Very nice words. I'm sure the moderators are smiling behind the scene. Very, very nice words. Thank you for that comment. As you can see, Crystal responded. All right. I'll read a few more comments here. Let's see here. I'm sorry you have that problem tonight. Not going to read the comment, but sometimes people are, never mind. I was going to say had a few drinks too many. Very nice, kind words from our loyal subscriber, Paul Warner. Mods are always doing a great job, who followed up with thank you on behalf of the moderators. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. I know you're going like that, Paul, but thank you. Yep. All right. So what else we have here? Your mods are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. BETC 4067. Thank you on behalf of the mods. Thank you so much. We really do have the best mods, and I know you hear this from a lot of channels, and I love that from the channels because they have they love their mods and they have confidence on their mods. So when you hear that, we do have the best. And more are saying that. So that's great. The mods don't get enough credit sometimes on not just this live, but the mods on other channels or the mods on this channel, mods on other channels, you know, whatever. You know, sometimes it's hard for them to enjoy the content and getting off topic, but on topic, actually. I always tell my mods to enjoy it and do the best you can and just try, you know, to ignore as much on, you know, on there. But, you know, it's hard because, you know, they want to come on and enjoy the topic and comment and agree or disagree, you know, and that's fine as well. I don't say that enough. And get caught up in trying to read these comments and try to give them warnings. We don't want to time anybody out. I mean, we really don't. But there's people on here probably under 18 or 12 or 15 or 17. And then there's people 60, 70 that are still on 18. And that's the best way I can say it. And then there's just people who are in a bad mood, and we all get in bad moods. All right, let's continue on. But thank you once again for all the nice comments to the moderators on here. And once again, thank you for the gifted memberships and the support we have on this live and other lives. I could never do it without you. 440 on here on this Friday evening. And it's just, the more we talk about it, you just feel for this this beautiful woman here. You know? All right, we're going to listen a little bit more to Harvey, and then that'll be it for the...
We haven't gotten it.
Well, all right. So, and that's obviously hugely significant because, you know, when you describe Mary's having some alarm, I share that. There seemed to be concern, right? Concern. And the way she characterized this letter, when I asked specifically, right, was there any change in either the ransom demands or the deadlines that have been put out? Specifically Monday, she said no. And that she would not characterize.
Thank you, Trump Bunny 24.
Letter. And she's saying that in the context of having seen the actual ransom letter itself, the original, right? But then she obviously, you know, wasn't going to comment on whether it addressed proof of life. So it does seem that there may be details about Nancy Guthrie's situation in there.
Possibly her health.
Yeah. So you have, Harvey, gone through as best you could looking at the letter, which interestingly, she described this new one as just as coherent as the first, which I really was stuck on your description of it. You know, that you were talking about how coherent and organized and put together it was. You went through it and found geographic clues that you were putting together, right? And putting things together. And I know you're not putting this as a lot, you know, hard and fast, but you did find some clues that gave you a feel for when it said something like, okay, this is how long after the deadline it would take us to return her, for example, that gave you a way to look at how far away she might be?
Yeah, you actually kind of triggered that for me, Aaron, when you asked me about that yesterday. And I spent the evening reading and rereading and rereading this letter. And it really finally struck me that, yes, they said that if we get the money, there's going to be a period of time that it will take to get her back. And they said as long as, and they gave the number of hours. And they said she would be returned to Tucson. And so when you look at the number of hours that it might have taken, and you know that they're going to return her to Tucson, at least according to this letter, then how would they return her? They're not going to return her by plane because she'd have to show ID. That's not going to happen. So clearly it's driving. And if they're driving, they're not going to drive at 100 miles an hour because if they get stopped for speeding, the game is over. So they would probably drive at around 60 miles an hour, the speed limit. And so we looked at the speed limit and the number of hours, and we used Tucson as the center and drew a radius around the outer limits. And what we found was, a lot of the Western United States, but at least it provides kind of a geographic clue that's contained, as opposed to saying somewhere in the United States or somewhere in the world. It seems that if you take the letter at face value, that circle would encompass an area where Nancy is, if you believe the person who wrote this ransom note. And at least that
I agree with Harvey
in a little bit. And what I was thinking was, Nancy was taken in the middle of the night. She needs medication.
Right.
They need to keep her healthy and alive. And is it possible that they went to a pharmacy and got somebody to write a prescription? Did somebody write a new prescription for the drug that she was taking?
Point.
And I'm just thinking about ways
Great point.
investigators might be able to kind of connect the dots here. And at least it's a big area, but at least they're able to, maybe put an APB out on something like that. So I think the area might be significant to the investigators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interesting, as you point out, if they're doing that, right, that could be whether it's in Idaho or Oklahoma, but all of a sudden it does give you an outer perimeter, possibly. I just found that your work there fascinating. So, Harvey.
I agree with Harvey. Unfortunately, I had to plug my phone in, guys. So I'm going to have to turn the camera. We're not going to end the live yet, but I'm going to charge up. You're going to see my hand here. Sorry about that. And I got to plug in because, oops. And there we go. Okay, yeah. So let's charge up. I agree on 100% of Harvey from TMZ. And I see the comments on CNN. Look, guys, you see the flag, you get confused. I don't need to explain myself. I'm watching what's being covered on the network, and CNN is covering this. And it's interesting to me what Harvey's saying. I probably watched TMZ total of 20 minutes, question Harvey on other topics, but, he's making points, and you don't have to. But yeah, I agree on what he said about the. And we had Fox on earlier and Newsmax. So, when we have cases like this, we're going to move around. And but anyhow, what was I going to say? Oh, the medication. And I said this before. I'm sure the FBI have reached out to Walgreens, CVS, any local pharmacy to see. They want to keep, again, if this is true, well, it's true, they got the ransom note. I'm going to say for conversation, I would assume that those ransom notes are for the kidnappers who have. I believe that. You don't have to agree. I'm just saying they're going to need the medication if she runs out, if she don't have enough. So, and then she's probably, what he was saying, Harvey, in that location, meaning a Tucson, New Mexico, and Las Vegas, and etc. So thank you for the donation. So, around that area, maybe California. So what he's trying to say is, she's not in Florida, she's not in Jersey, she's not in Philly, she's not in, South Carolina. So I agree on that. So good point. Good point. Excellent point. All right. So excellent point. But again, I think if you're just coming in, I think that, what's new is they did go back to the roof. They found a device. They took Nancy's car. They've been going to neighbors, asking questions. They were still there. I don't know if they're still there now. It's getting late since we've been on, but they were there to the later hours at night, flashlights, looking around. They were really looking at this device that they thought it was a camera, then it turned out not to be a camera. And certainly, for me, that's good news. And, some would say it's a sloppy job on the police department. I feel different. Well, I don't feel different. I think they did some sloppiness, but I feel that in that ransom note, they had a ransom note, and the FBI are looking at the words very closely. and there's words on that note that we won't know yet. We will, the public, and we should know right now, that led to them, in my opinion, to go back to the roof, to go back to the house, check the roof. I don't know if they had a basement, but something in that note that said upstairs, roof, you know, to give them something in that device, something in the camera, something there. Maybe there's a photo of Nancy. You know, maybe they taped her. Maybe they did some kind of video of her. I doubt it, but I don't know. Something led them to go back to that rooftop, in my view. But I can be completely wrong. Maybe they just went back because they missed something. I don't think so. And I think Nancy Grace came out and said that after I said it. So something led them to go back. Maybe they went to the rooftop at the time and they just missed it. It's not like they went back. They didn't go back and plant the camera or the device or whatever the hell it is. Bizarre. It gets more bizarre. I mean, just when we seen other kidnappers, Elizabeth, I keep bringing up Elizabeth Smart and others, it gets more bizarre, this case. Very bizarre. Like they said earlier, cat and mouse game, you know, back and forth with these notes. And will we get a third ransom note? That's going to be the key. Third ransom note. And what will be on that note? That will tell us probably a lot more, depending on what they say. Paul says, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they checked that roof. I mean, I've always been hard on authority, but yeah, I'm sure they went up on that roof, that flat roof. And Paul, I agree. A cat and mouse game, yeah, it really is. And a very horrific, bizarre, unfortunate situation. It's you know, it's got me scratching my head here. Sal, I'll give you some theories. Can't even read. It's getting late tomorrow. Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I like to hear from you. I like to hear anybody who wants to agree or disagree or put your input. And again, we don't know. It could be the ransom notes are not even from the kidnappers, you know. But I doubt it. Hey, David, how are you? Hope you're doing well. You're probably better off that way, David. Sometimes, David. No, we're just covering, David, the Savannah Galtry. She was a reporter at NBC. Make it very quick. Nancy's 84-year-old mom in a very wealthy neighborhood who was kidnapped now for 7 days. And it just goes, they have ransom notes to TMZ, 2 ransom notes. Pretty much, they're not 100% convinced it's the real kidnapper. I think there are. It is. They're on the rooftop today. They're trying to get closer and closer to find this poor lady who has a pacemaker and has heart problems. Looks good, but certainly we're hoping they can track down the kidnappers real soon. I seem to think they're going to find them probably before the weekend, and that's where we're at. They found a device on a roof. So, Kathy from Arizona, what do you hear? What's going on? Any local reporting we might not covered on here from Arizona? Thank you for letting us know. Arizona. It's that time to light up a cigar, and it's getting late, so I will read a few more comments here. It's Friday. I'm off tomorrow, so I'll stay live a little bit longer. If the moderators need to go to bed or anybody else, we appreciate everything you do. We'll stay live a few more minutes here. Anthony, welcome in, Anthony. Anthony's new here. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate your comment. Hopefully you liked and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Yes, ready for an internet break, and right when I do, and your message went away. Something else happens. Yeah, I'm gonna let my phone charge a little bit, and I want to hear. Oh, good, David. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't let my wife hear that, though, David. But I'm gonna let my phone charge, and I'm gonna listen to Harvey for a few more minutes, and then we'll discuss, and then I think we're gonna wind it up. So I'm gonna wait for my phone to charge for a couple more minutes. And then I want to listen to Harvey from TMZ. And then we'll... he's almost done talking, I think, to the panel on CNN. Welcome in, welcome in. Gloria Young. Love the name, Gloria. Gloria. I have a daughter named Gloria Bell. Viva Mexico. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Danklin. I hope I pronounced that. It's getting late. Bear with me. We're going to be. I was going to do a live on that tonight, but we're probably going to do a live on that tomorrow. One last time, I think, and what Trump had to say to Hillary and, on that situation. We've been covering that many times. All right, let me continue on here. What's going on in Los Angeles, Nikki? Crystal, you have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for everything you do. And Janine and Mike. God, you got to be exhausted, and then also teasing me. And if people are going to come on and say, "What the hell? Who's teasing who?" with food, make you laugh a little bit, Crystal. Thank you so much for everything you do and all your sponsorship, and appreciate you. Have a great night. Say hello to Isabel, and your say hello to your husband, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. I will be taking off Sunday for the Super Bowl, so we'll unless something breaks. But thank you, Crystal. I agree with that one comment there at the end there, or the last comment. Anyone? Yes. Yeah, I've been covering that so many times. We covered it yesterday. So. Hugs right back to you, Crystal. Hey, thank you for the gift. The makeup brush. Thank you. Thank you. I like New England. Kathy to win the game. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate that comment. Hit the like button once in a while. And that goes for this live stream or any other live stream that you watch, whether it's vertical, horizontal, or whatever. If you enjoy the content, it means a lot to the people who do these live streams. Work goes into it and energy. And so, a like doesn't hurt, doesn't cost anything, and you don't get electrocuted. So thank you. Thank you for that, Doug Hoffman. Thank you, Doug. All right. Hold on. Let me see here. David Wagner, read your mind. What you going to do? Might be David. I gotta. I would love to, David. But David, I get a lot. I'm not saying you're one. I believe that you're asking, being professional about it. I would, but I get a lot of spam and this, that, whatever. But yeah, absolutely. So, can't read all the comments. If you really want a comment to be highlighted when we have some traffic, be free to do a donation. And that donation goes to the homeless people here in Las Vegas. We got, speaking of homeless, I don't talk about it much. We do support the homeless on plenty short. All my shorts, 90% of shorts are wrapped around helping the homeless people here in Las Vegas. So if you want a comment to be, I'm going to treat that comment that you just said that you're an adult and you really want to put it out there. And I missed it. I try to read them all. But, it's impossible. But, again, the donations will help out the homeless. Let's see here what we got. So, David, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you, David. High five, fist bump. Appreciate it. That $10 donation goes a long way. Believe me, goes a long way. We're out there every day. When I say we, me and my wife, and a lot of local supporters who know me here in Las Vegas. We don't ask them if they're Democrat. We don't ask them if they're Republican, gay, straight, white. And I'll even go a little farther, illegal. If they're starving, we help them. So thank you. Thank you for your donation. So, yeah, I don't like to make this too much political because the topic that we're talking to, I know it's hard not to because I have the flag behind me. But yes, I do support common sense. And that's that. I believe in a leader. I'm not a follower. Somebody who's not perfect because Trump's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But it's a way, in my opinion, we're going in the right direction. And that's that. So, okay. A little peppers and sausage. Light switch dropping the bomb. A little pepper and sausage for the Super Bowl. I wish everybody can taste my... How'd you know I got it? How'd you know I went and got it? I got everything but the rolls. Unfortunately, the rolls here in Vegas, you got to get the day before. But yeah, sausage and peppers on Super Bowl. Come on over, everybody. We'll have fun with sausage and peppers. And then we also... we'll get to, give out some to the homeless people. So, Anthony. All right, thank you. Best way to support. Hey, appreciate you. It's not unnoticed. Thank you, my friend. High five, fist bump to you, light switch, and appreciate it. And David, thank you, all three of you. Appreciate you so much. Best way to support others. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're fortunate enough. We started this YouTube channel on something, and we led to the homeless. We talk a lot what's going on in the world lately, and certainly what's happening with this beautiful 84-year-old, sweet, innocent lady. We talk a hell of a lot what's going on in the political war, certainly what's happening in Iran, and if that's stuff that you might be interested in, that's what we talk about. And yes, I have called Trump out plenty of times. I'm not afraid to call myself out. But again, here I am making it politics. I believe this man, and he's concerned here on this. You know, he's concerned on having authorities and federal agents helping out the case. And I know I'll beat everybody to it. Somebody said earlier, I think it was a John. It doesn't matter if it was my mom's deceased. She passed, but if it was one of our moms, we probably wouldn't hear much about it. I understand. I agree. But nonetheless, it's still a human being, and the profile that it is, what can I say? It's always been that way. It's just a lot more now because you have how many channels you have all these news outlets. You have YouTube Live. You got all these shows, so you're going to have more exposure. I don't know what to say, but that's what it is. And it's, years ago, it used to be the newspaper, So, but yes, thank you for all your help. I appreciate it. I certainly appreciate all the likes. And, we're a small YouTube channel here, and all we can do is try. As our loyal subscriber, who's probably sleeping right now, Ozzy, love you, Ozzy, is all we can do is try. And that means try as a nation, try helping out the less fortunate, trying to keep the nation safe, try more common sense, try to work and improve on mental health. And, unfortunately, I hate to say this won't be the last bizarre case. Unfortunately, it will continue. However, this is very bizarre. What we're talking about for the last, 2 hours. Yeah, it's almost that time. With this elderly woman. So, I'm optimistic, though. I really think we're getting close, and they're going to find this woman alive. Yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow morning, we can put on the news, or I'll come on live, or another YouTuber will be live and saying, found. And then everybody can discuss, and then, found alive, miracle, couple bruises, went to the hospital, and she's alive and doing well, and a closure to the family. That would be great. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? David, thank you so much. Stop it. High five, fist bump. Thank you. Thank you for both of your donations. I want to start a series of interviews with honest creators. Appreciate it. I tried, David. I'm pretty much what you see is what you get. I don't always have the right answers. I butcher names sometimes, but I try to put a little entertainment. Hard to put too much entertainment. Hey, Sandra, on this because it's so sad in so many ways on there. It really hits me because I just lost, and please don't feel bad. My mom's in a better place, but I just lost my mom. So anytime, and I'm sure a lot of you have lost your mom or your stepmom or your father, and it touches you, because my mom was a few years younger. But anyhow, hey, welcome in, Sandra. Thank you for the donation once again. Everybody shout out to David, who's helped sponsor in today's live, so we can continue these lives, and more importantly, we can continue and try to help out the less fortunate, the homeless people here on the streets. And I'm not alone. There's other YouTubers, other churches, but I like to do it myself. And I know that the money and the funds are going boots on ground to the people, and I put the videos out for a couple things. Most important, to make homeless awareness. So most importantly, the government on both sides got called out. Our governor, who I voted for, who's Italian, I call him out. I don't care. I call myself out. I call myself out sometimes for not doing better. So, I'm going to continue to do it. And another reason is to show people, here's where it's going, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys totally rock. Overwhelmed. Thank you. I really mean that. Thank you. It's not unnoticed. Appreciate you. And also, last but not least, other new YouTubers can do that too and do their own little niche. And, mine is showing clips of feeding the homeless and soon to come clips on getting them into the nonprofits. I am not one, and a lot of people get disappointed in me, and I've lost a few subscribers and from it. I'm not one to say, hey, why are you homeless? What did you do? That's not my personality. Okay? I'm not knocking any other YouTuber at all. But my job, if they want to talk about it, then I'll sit down with them, have coffee, and talk about it. And even that, I don't want to show it to the world unless I feel comfortable. I'm not going to ask them. That's just me. So anyhow, but I will show clips of helping them out, conversation, coffee, and hamburgers, homemade food, McDonald's, this, that, whatever. We switch it up as much as I possibly can. So, once again, David, high five, fist bump, dropping another donation here. Thank you. Yes, amen, David. Amen. Reading that. Amen. Yeah, my mom, my belief is, look, I don't judge on here, never did. And a lot of you have been subscribing to me for a long time. I believe in God, but I don't judge. I would hope that you believe in somebody, have hope. Maybe it's your Uncle Joey, but my mom, exactly those words. Yeah, she's in a better place, not suffering. I believe they look down and so on and so forth. I'm going a little bit off the topic, but we lived through them. That's my belief, and helps me take one day at a time. Anybody's going through a loss of a loved one, a family member, very difficult. Or pets. Let's make all pets are not human, but it's a loss. And anybody's going through a difficult time, divorce, all you can do is continue 1 hour at a time, one day at a time, and live through them. And that's what they would want. And that's all you can do. What are you going to do? Stop? But thank you. Thank you so much for all the donations. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the only time I keep any of the donations, if it's like Crystal and I know Crystal went to sleep, but she might be listening, or Ozzy or somebody. Hey, Sal, here, go get a cigar, go get a scotch. Here's something for you for the gas. Even then, I turn over, a portion of it. I'll keep some of the, because that's what they want me to do. But otherwise, we are fortunate and blessed, very blessed to help out. And I've been there before, but I'm not going to get into that. It's not the time to get into it, but I've been there. All right, let's move on. I'm going to go a few more minutes, guys. Oh, I think the phone is charged. I tell you what we'll do. We're going to listen to Harvey. I think he has about another minute, and then I'll discuss a few more minutes, and then I think we're going to call it night. I'm getting a little tired here, and I think the phone is charged. So let's listen into Harvey. Harvey looks a little bit better here.
Have you spoken with Savannah or others in her family since you've gotten the letter?
I have not. I know she got the letter, but I have not.
And in terms of the one other thing that I want to ask you, because I know you had verified.
David, thank you. I will.
But you also got the original communication. Interesting that when
David, I'll
hold on. Into the sheriff's office, they came back and said
I'm screaming so loud, my neighbors are yelling at me. I'm only kidding, David. I will, David. I think what I'll get is a Camacho. I know you're probably saying get whatever you want. Shout out to David for help sponsoring today. Thank you, David.
Same secure server that was used, but not the same IP address. What does that say to you, Harvey?
That's unsurprising to me. Whoever did this knows their stuff. I mean, they know how to maintain anonymity. So if this is the same person, and I find it really interesting that Mary was saying it's the same structure as the first letter, and it feels like it could have been written by the same person, because that letter really did strike me the way it was written, and it seems to strike her looking at the second one as well. But they were sophisticated. So if they change something in terms of the way that they send it out, they know their stuff, because my IT team.
You think so, Anthony?
And as far
my wife said the same thing, Anthony. My wife said the same exact words.
So changing it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, and at least at this point, they've obviously, they're telling us what they're telling us, but it doesn't appear at all that there had been any break in that. All right, Harvey.
All right, so Harvey's done.
I do have one other thing.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Harvey.
I do have one other thing. I think it's really significant and really interesting that KOLD got the first note. They got their note about 12 hours before we got ours the first time. And if this were somebody outside the Tucson area, it seems more improbable that they would send it to a local station. And it just feels like, whoever wrote this note and possibly has Nancy is somebody in that area, because they are focused on local TV stations there. And I think that's relevant. I think it's relevant. And then the issue is, was it somebody watching TV and said, oh, Savannah Guthrie's rich and famous. Do we want to see if we can find a relative and kidnap? Or is it somebody who said, oh, Savannah Guthrie lives in my town. Nancy Guthrie lives in my town. I
think he's right once again. But it is getting late, guys. And, it's got to be tough for Harvey. Again, I don't watch the show, maybe watch 30 minutes the whole time it's been on. It's got great ratings, so somebody's watching it. What can I say? But he's got to be exhausted, and, it's got to be tough. Think about it for 1 second. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for Harvey. He's doing very well for himself. He works very hard. I'm not a huge fan of Harvey on Tim, but it's got to be difficult. Think about it. If you had a show and you get these ransom notes and holy shit, I got to turn them over to the FBI. The ratings are off, but, I think I lost the internet. I'm sure I know we lost the internet there. I'm sure the ratings on TMC is way off the roof. But he is a human, and I'm sure it's got to be difficult for him. I'm sure he's losing some sleep. Not that we have to feel sorry for him. I'm not saying that. But, the FBI is involved. I know we lost the internet a little bit. And, no one wants to have a ransom note. Imagine having a show, or you live in a neighborhood and you get a ransom note, and it's not even your family. You don't know them. You got to turn it over, and it's got to be difficult. So, and he looks exhausted. He looks better here than we seen earlier. He looked really exhausted. So, which I'm getting exhausted here. It's been 2 lives today. Not complaining, but if anything breaks, I mean, I'm going to go to bed, but there's other YouTubers that are going to be putting it on. I have a very strong possibility that we're going to know some more, maybe even find out where she's at and who the kidnappers are. I hope and pray by tomorrow. Thank you once again. Appreciate everybody who donated tonight. David, once again, thank you for the cigar. Thank you for those who participated in likes and the moderators and everybody else. Again, I was saying I try to make it somewhat entertaining on here, and do the best I can on these vertical lives, back and forth. Let's hope for the best, guys. Take good care of yourself. Live in the moment. Spend time with your family as much as you can. I say that all the time, regardless of this kidnapping. Hope for the best. I feel she's alive. They'll find her. And hopefully, if not, the family can have some closure in this. And take good care of yourself. If I don't see you guys on the next live stream, have all notifications checked. And hope that YouTube does the best and sends out the algorithm, sends it out your way. If you enjoy here almost every day, we do take a break here and there, for obvious reasons. And I think that's about it, guys. So I'm out of here. Take good care. Spend time with your family. Have a good night. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Super Bowl should be fun. See you guys. I will be live tomorrow, at least once. Good night. Good night. Thank you so much. Good night. Good night. Thank you, David.